Unit 6, The Browning Version by Terence Rattigan. This is an except means apart from Browning's version. The scene is set in a school. Frank is young and Crocker Harris middle-aged. The two characters that are introduced are Frank and Crocker Harris. Frank is young and Crocker Harris is middle-aged. Both are masters. Taplow is a boy of 16 who has come in to do extra work for Crocker Harris. So Crocker Harris has assigned some extra work to Taplow. And but the later means say Frank and Crocker Harris, here say Taplow. But the later has not yet arrived, means Taplow has yet not arrived. And Franklo finds Taplow waiting. So now the situation is that Frank and Crocker Harris are teachers. Frank is a young teacher, Crocker Harris is a middle-aged teacher. Taplow is a student of 16 and who has come to do extra work for Crocker Harris. Crocker Harris, the teacher, has assigned some extra work to Taplow. But Crocker Harris has not yet arrived and Frank finds Taplow waiting. Frank, the other young teacher, he finds that Taplow, the student who has been assigned extra work by Crocker Harris, is waiting. So there is a conversation between Frank, the young teacher, and Taplow. Do I know you? Frank is asking. Taplow, no sir. What's your name? Taplow. Taplow? No, I don't. You are not a scientist, I gather. No sir, I am still in the lower fifth. I can't specialize until next term. That's to say, if I have got my REMU all right, if I go through all the subjects properly, then I'll be able to become a scientist. Don't you know if you have got your REMU? That means have you cleared that exam or not? Don't you know that? No sir, Mr. Crocker Harris doesn't tell us the result like the other masters. Frank, why not? The young teacher is, say, surprised that why doesn't the teacher, Crocker Harris, tell you whether you have had your REMU or not? Well, you know what he is like, sir. I believe there is rule that form results should only be announced by the headmaster on the last day of term. So Frank recollects that there is a rule that the teachers cannot disclose the results. The only headmaster will disclose the results on the last day of the term. Yes, but who else pays attention to it except Mr. Crocker Harris? Now, Mr. Crocker Harris, the teacher, is the only teacher who follows that rules. Nobody else does that. That's what the student says. I admit. I don't follow that rule. Frank admits. The young teacher admits that I don't follow that rule. But that's no criterion that if I don't follow, that is the correct thing to do. I cannot say that. So, you have got to wait until tomorrow to know your fate. Have you? Yes, sir. So, you will get to know tomorrow whether you have passed or not. Yes, sir. Supposing the answer is favorable, what then? Suppose you clear and you pass, then what are you going to do? Oh, science, sir, of course. Frank, sadly, yes. We get all the slackers. Taplow, protestingly, I am extremely interested in science, sir. So the slackers means the people who are lacking behind. Those are the kind of students that we get. That's what Frank says. The young teacher says. But Taplow, the student, protests that no, I am extremely interested in science. Are you? Frank says that I am not. Not at least in the science I have to teach. I am not at all interested in the science that I teach. Well, anyway, sir, it's a good deal more exciting than this muck That means indicating his book that science is more interesting than what I have to do as an extra work that Cocker Harris has assigned me. What's this mug? It is Aeschylus, sir, the Agamemnon. Sorry, Agamemnon. This is a Greek story, and you consider view. Sorry, and your considered view is that Agamemnon is muck. That is what the teacher is trying to take from the boy. Well, no, sir. I don't think the play is muck. So, the Greek play that is there, that's not a muck exactly. I suppose, in a way, it is rather a good plot. It's a good story. Really, a wife murdering her husband and all that is really interesting. I only meant the way it is taught to us. So the book is good, the story is good, but what is the problem? The way it is being taught to us. Just a lot of Greek words strung together and 50 lines if you get them wrong. So a lot of Greek words have to be written, are there in it, and if you write one word wrong, then you have to write it 50 times. That is the way it is being taught, that is problematic. You sound a little bitter, Taplow. The teacher says, I am rather, sir. Captain, that means you have been punished. No, sir, extra work. Extra work on the last day of school? Yes, sir, and I might be playing golf. You'd think we had enough to do anyway himself, considering he is leaving tomorrow for good. But oh no, I missed the day last week when I was ill. So here I am, and look at the weather, sir. So Taplow says that yes, I have to be here to do the work on the last day also. That is that the Crocker Harris has assigned me. Otherwise, I might be playing golf. You'd think I'd have enough to do anyway himself. He would have enough to do anyway himself, considering he is leaving tomorrow for good. The next day he was going to leave. But oh no, I missed the last week. Last week he was ill, and at that time he could not do some work, and that's why Crocker Harris wanted that work to be done. And the weather was so good for golf, and he could not play golf, so he was sad about it. Bad luck for you, Frank, the teacher says. Still, there is one comfort. You are pretty well certain to get your remove tomorrow from being a good boy in taking extra work. So, but one good thing is that as you are here to do your extra work, so it is very much likely that you will get your remove. That means your course will be over. Taplow. Well, I am not sure, sir, whether I will get my remove or not. That would be true for the ordinary masters, alright. If an ordinary master would be there and if some student would do extra work, then that ordinary master would say, uh, uh, get him through that course. But this Crocker Harris is different. They just wouldn't dare not to give a chap a remove after he is taking extra work. That they would not give a remove to the child if he has done extra work, ordinary teacher. But those sort of rules don't apply to Croc. Then he recollects that he is speaking in front of a teacher, so he says, Mr. Crocker Harris. I asked him yesterday, oh right, if he had given me a remove, and do you know what he said? So, the previous day he had asked Crocker Harris that, have you given me a remove? And do you know what he answered? Frank, of course, obviously, he did not know what he had answered. So, no, what? Taplow. Imitating a very gentle, rather throaty voice. That means he is trying to imitate Crocker Harris. My dear Taplow, I have given you exactly what you deserve. No less and certainly no more. Do you know, sir? I think he may have marked me down rather than up for taking extra work. I mean, the man is hardly human. Crocker Harris is hardly human means he is not a human being. He breaks off quickly. Sorry, sir. Have I gone too far? Have I spoken more than I should? Yes, much too far. You should not speak so much about your teachers. Sorry, sir. I got carried away by the emotions. Evidently, he picks up the newspaper and opens it. Air Taplow. Yes, sir. What was that Crocker Harris said to you? Just repeat it, would you? Frank, the teacher is asking Taplow to repeat what the Crocker Harris had told him. Taplow. My dear Taplow, I have given you exactly what you deserve, no less and certainly no more. Looking severe, Frank says, not in the least like him. Read your nice Aeschylus and be quiet. You are not speaking the way he speaks, and so it's better that you read the things that you have to read. Taplow with dislike. Aeschylus. That's what I have to read. Frank. Look, what time did Mr. Crocker Harris tell you to be here? 6:30, sir. Well, it's 10 minutes late. Why don't you cut? You could still play golf before lockup. Taplow is shocked. Oh no, I couldn't cut. Cut the crock, Mr. Crocker Harris? I shouldn't think it is ever been done by the whole time he has been here. That means you cannot say disobey and go away if he is not on time. God knows what would happen if I did. He would probably follow me home or something. If I go away from here, then he will follow me home. Frank, I must admit, I envy him the effect he seems to have on you boys in the form. The way he is trying to threaten you and obey his orders, I really envy him. You all seem scared to death of him. What does he do? Beat you all or something? Good Lord, no, he is not a sadist like one or two of the others. So one or the two of the others are sadists and they do beat the students. But he is not like that. I beg your pardon. A sadist, sir, is someone who gets pleasure out of giving pain. That's what the student says. And Crocker Harris is not a sadist. Indeed. But I think you went on to say that some other masters. Well, of course, they are, sir. I won't mention names, but you know them as well as I do. Of course, I know most masters think we boys don't understand a thing, but, sir, you are different. You are young, well, comparatively, anyway, and you are science. You must know what sadism is. Frank, after, good Lord, what are our schools coming to? Anyway, the croc isn't a sadist. That's what I'm saying. He wouldn't be so frightening if he were, because if he were a sadist, he would not have been so frightening, because at least it would show he had some feelings. Being a sadist, you get excited and you try to give pain to others and you get joy in that. But Crocker Harris does not have any feelings at all. But he hasn't. He is a shriveled up inside like a nut, and he seems to hate people to like him. So, just as a nut is say covered up in that way, he keeps himself isolated, and he doesn't like if the students like him. He seems to hate people to like him. It's funny that I don't know any other master who doesn't like being liked. All the masters like being liked. How come say he is different? We'll continue from here tomorrow. Thank you.